总部位于法国巴黎的道达尔公司是全球老牌石油与天然气公司，拥有超过90年的历史，业务遍及全球的130多个国家和地区，员工的数量呢也超过了10万人。2014年10月，这家公司的 CEO 马哲瑞因飞机失事遇难之后，推举潘彦磊出任新的 CEO。潘彦磊毕业于巴黎综合理工学院，1989年至1996年期间，在法国工业部及其他部委先后担任多个职务。1997年的1月加入道达尔，2002年8月被任命为集团的高级副总裁，主管勘探和生产业务的财务经济以及信息系统。2012年担任集团总裁，主管炼化业务。2014年10月担任道达尔的首席执行官兼执行委员会主席。2015年12月出任董事长兼首席执行官。在今年3月于北京出席2016中国发展高层论坛期间，潘彦磊接受了财新时间的专访，就未来的油价走势、道达尔如何应对低油价周期、怎样与中国企业加强合作、如何进一步的开展天然气业务以及开发可再生能源等问题，回答了财新传媒主编王硕的采访。
I am Patrick Pouyanné, Chairman and CEO of Total, a major oil and gas company. You are watching Who is Time.
Let's start from oil price. It has rebounded 50% in the recent months. Very rapid rise. Why?
There was a rise after a big depression, I would say. The average price of oil in 2015 was around $50 per barrel. In January, it went down to less than 30 and went back again. Why? Because I think the producing countries, in particular OPEC and Russia, have launched to the market some good signs. They want to recontrol, I would say, the market. There was an agreement that they want to freeze the production at the level of January 2016, and another important indication was given last week that OPEC is targeting $50 per barrel. So the market understands that these producing countries will maybe one day be able to cut, but at least that they gave a message to the market they want to recontrol their production level.
Some argue that the oil price decline since 2014 is not a cyclical one, but could be a secular one. Do you agree?
It was the same who are explaining, the same people were explaining that the price would remain above $100 per barrel. No, in fact, it's a commodity, and the cycle, you learn that at school, it's normal. It's normal just because it's a question of, again, today we have a low price, so very few new projects, in fact, are sanctioned, which means that in 5 years, there will be again a problem with a supply issue, because in the oil industry, if you don't invest, you don't fight against the natural decline. An oil field naturally is declining, and the average worldwide is 5% per year. So we are not investing in new projects, so that means that in 5 years we'll have a lack of supply. And when the price is low, the demand is bigger. This year, in 2015, we had the second highest increase of demand in the last 10 years because of the low oil price. So more demand, less supply, the price will rebound. Question is when.
Do you have a prediction for the long-term oil price?
No, it's unable. I don't know. French president asked me what would be the ideal stable price. It's just a question for a politician, but stability in this business, it's impossible. We know that it will be cyclical. So, and I will not reveal what is your assumption. By the way, even internally, I don't give it one assumption. When you lead a company like an oil and gas company, you have to, in fact, the key driver is to look carefully and to permanently check what is your cash break-even. If you have a low cash break-even cost, you will be able to resist to the low cycles. And if the price is high, it's perfect, but then you will recover a lot of cash flows. So we are using various assumptions for projects, but it depends also of the type of projects. If you have investing in LNG plants, liquefied natural gas plant, for 20 years, you know that you will have up and down. So it's not the same assumption that if you are investing in an oil production, an oil field, where your plateau of production will last for 4 or 5 years, where you have to be much more stringent.
面对低油价周期，以道达尔为代表的老牌一体化石油公司显现出了强大的抗风险能力，将上游勘探、炼油化工到成品油分销的上下游业务进行一体化的协同，并采取了有效的降成本措施，成效显著。道达尔2015年的业绩报告显示，公司净利润的降幅只有18%，情况呢远远好于其他国际石油公司接近50%，甚至超过50%的利润降幅。潘艳雷表示，对道达尔过去1年的业绩感到满意。他同时强调，高效的组织管理是道达尔在困难时期依然可以取得不俗业绩的法宝。
You said that Total is the most resilient among the majors. How did you make it?
How do you make it? Just because we have a very serious company, well-organized company. No, in fact, we were more resilient than the others. Our results went down by 18% in 2015, compared to the oil price by 50%, and most of our peers had the results which went down by 50%. Why? Because we have an integrated model, which means that we are not only producing, but we are also refining, making petrochemical, distributing. And the downstream part of the company has managed to capture part of the margins which was lost on the upstream part. The second reason is that we have a huge growth, because we have invested a lot in the recent years, more than 9% growth production, so it helps. And the last reason is that we have launched very aggressive cost-saving programs. We saved more than $1.5 billion in our operating expenditures, and will continue. So maybe before the others, we decided that this cycle will last, and that we had to be very serious on the costs.
You have been very good at cutting costs without laying off people. But if the low price continue, will you have to consider laying off people in the future?
No, I don't think it's a good philosophy. I think, by the way, in our industry, the number of people, in particular in upstream, is not so huge. We don't have so many people. It's a capitalistic industry. Why is I don't think so? Because when you embark a company in cost-saving programs, if you're afraid the people that they could be fired also, they will not act. They will not work as you want. So no, I think it's not the priority. In the same way we are supposed, an oil and gas company like Total is supposed to resist to the cycle, including by managing its staff. So we are trying to do it like that, and for the time being, we have good results with this policy.
Today, cutting cost is one of your priorities. So what's your plan to cut the investment projects, and what's your plan for divestiture?
In fact, investments, the capex investment project. We had launched in 2011 a huge capex program in order to grow. We were at the peak at $28 billion. Today, in 2015, we spent 23, and 2016 still $19 billion. So of course, it's a reduction, but it's still a good, very high level of investment. And what we intend for the future is, in fact, to stabilize the level of capex around 19 billion in order to be able to grow by 2%, which in the market. But the oil and gas market is a mature market. On divestments, we have a portfolio of assets. We have a portfolio of $140 billion. So what we announced that we have a strategy to permanently review the portfolio. So we'll divest 10 billion in 3 years, which is 3 or 4 billion per year, so it's 2% of the portfolio. It's very minimum. But we are buying assets, don't forget. We are divesting, but we are buying assets. And in particular, in this period of low cost, there will be some M&A activities, obviously, because some independents are under more stress than Total, and they will try to divest more assets. So we could be also not only divest as a buyer in that market.
道达尔进入中国市场已经有超过30年的历史了。从下游的炼油化工、加油站润滑油销售的合作起步，近几年呢拓展到了上游，与中石油合作开发苏里格南气田，和中石化在国内开展页岩勘探和评估，与中国国有石油公司在海外的合作项目已经超过了11个。此外呢，还与多家中国油气公司签订了液化天然气的长期供应协议。潘艳雷表示，未来油气希望能够进一步的参与到中国的天然气市场，与中国企业加深相关合作。
Chinese government is working on a plan to reform oil and gas industry. What kind of reform do you expect from this?
I think there are many reforms going in China. One of them, obviously, for us, what is important for us in China is in particular the development of the gas business. the gas market has to be developed in China. In the energy mix of China, gas is quite small, and coal is huge. And as we are a lot, we believe that gas is the hydrocarbon for the future, is the energy for the future, because it's cleaner than that oil and coal to produce electricity. So I think that you need probably to open competition, to open access to competition if you want to develop the gas market. And Total will be interested in the future, not only to bring liquefied natural gas to import terminals like we are doing today with CNOOC or CNPC, but could be also interested to develop in projects in the gas downstream in order to develop the gas markets. That's one of the key issues for us. And of course the gas price will follow. We are also, I remind you, investors in the gas field in Ordos, in Soliga, with CNPC, and there one of the challenges obviously is a global gas price in the market.
And you, among the majors, you are the one which has the most partner with Chinese oil companies in most international projects. Why that is the case?
In fact, it was a vision of my predecessor, CEO of Total, Mr. de Margerie, who clearly, since 2005-06, observed that the Chinese companies were willing to go internationally, the big national companies, PetroChina, Sinopec, CNOOC, and in particular in Africa, where we are strong. And we decided that instead of fighting against them, it was better to partner with them. You know, in oil industry, in gas industry, generally you have joint ventures. So we went here, we discovered these companies, and we have embarked in a number of ventures in Nigeria, in Angola, in Iraq, in Brazil today as well, with good relationships, frankly, and we managed to develop that partnerships. And in fact, if I'm going quite often here in Beijing, it's because we have more to discuss about these international partnerships. Uganda, I forget Uganda for tomorrow, and maybe Iran will be another one. Because for us, Chinese companies are good partners. When you are in oil and gas, there are geopolitics, and it's good to have some Chinese partners, some European partners, US partners, to spread your risks as well.
The Chinese oil companies are newcomers to the international projects. What kind of suggestion you would make for them?
Newcomers, you know, they invested already since the last 10 years. And I think, no suggestion, what I observe that they are learning very quickly. I think, of course, that today's market, even if everybody is under stress, there will be opportunities. My main advice would be to continue to choose the right partner, and Total is the right partner for them.
基于全球应对气候变化的压力，削减煤炭、石油等化石能源消费，提高可再生能源的利用，成为各国需要达成的目标。在这样的背景之下呢，清洁低碳的天然气成为了石油公司的首选。以道达尔为例，从2014年开始，道达尔的天然气产量已经超过了石油产量。近年来呢，也积极推进相关项目，其中包括位于北极圈深处的俄罗斯亚马尔液化天然气项目、澳洲的 Axis 液化天然气项目等等。潘彦雷表示，道达尔呢将持续投资天然气市场，同时希望未来可以在可再生能源领域立足。
How do you think about the LNG export from the North America? Will it be a game changer to your business?
Yeah, there will be a lot of game changer. Of course, you know, the LNG business market will see quite a dramatic change in these coming years because Australia will grow its production and because the US market, US LNG will flow in the market. So it represents an increase most or less of 35% of capacity of the world market in 5 years. So it's a big wave. So obviously this will have an impact on the prices. So it's good for buyers, for Chinese buyers, good time. But there again, I think I'm convinced that the gas market worldwide will be developed because again, gas is a clean energy. And we need to have more gas in the global energy mix if we want to be consistent with the Paris Agreement to be on the 2-degree roadmap for climate change.
But there is a problem. The production cost for your gas field in Australia, in many places, is relatively high, higher than those from the North America. So how can you compete with them on cost?
You know, it depends. You have various projects there. And first of all, in LNG, you know, part of these projects that we launched in Australia, we have 2 projects in Australia, one in the north of Australia, which is called Ichthys, which is a very good project, and one other one on the west and on the east of Australia. These projects have been launched with long-term contracts. Long-term contracts with Korean customers, Japanese customers, some with Chinese customers. We have more with Japanese customers, by the way, on our side. But when you develop this type of projects, it's also the gas is important. But for example, in ICTIS, we develop not only gas, but also condensate, liquids, which gives additional revenues and which can make this project competitive.
And after the merge of Shell and the BG, there's a new giant of LNG in the market. Do you have a plan to compete with them?
We are competing with them. They will be number one for sure. We are number two, and number two, number three with ExxonMobil and ourselves. We intend to continue to grow. You know, there is a market there. By the way, in this market where you have more supply than demand for some years, I prefer to be balanced as I am today because between my supply and my markets. And but again, it's that's proof. That's the proof that this market is interesting. You know, LNG is important for major companies like Total or Shell or Exxon because it's a very capital-intensive market, and so it's the game is between the key majors. So it is a place where we can continue to invest and to develop the company.
You have a huge project at the North Antarctic, Yamar project. How could you justify its high production cost against the?
No, you are wrong. It's that's true that it's an impressive project. It's 600 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle, in impressive cold weather, very cold weather. But in fact, the upstream costs are quite low because it's a huge amount of gas reserves. The Yamal Peninsula is one of the largest gas reserves in the world. So we don't have any risk reserves. The upstream cost is low. The liquefaction cost is higher. But you know, this is a project that we developed with PetroChina, and most of the gas will come, by the way, to China. And I can tell you it will be good, very competitive. So we continue to invest in the project because we have also to have a medium and long-term view.
Do you see a future that renewable energy can compete on cost with fossil fuel and has a future to replace fossil fuel?
I think it's not a question of competition. We need all these type of energies, you know, and we are very keen on renewables. We have invested in SunPower, which is the #2 solar company in the world. We are working, by the way, already in China as well to develop new panels with Chinese companies. I think the world needs all this energy. If we have, you know, in Paris was signed in December a very important agreement about climate change. 195 countries agree that we must act towards the roadmap to degrees. For an oil and gas company like Total, it's a major challenge. It's also an area of opportunity. So what we intend to do in Total is to take into account this 2-degree roadmap, which means that, of course, there will be some stress on our oil and gas business, but the gas, again, can develop its market in this energy mix, and we will also invest more and more in renewables. We need also to have the ambition to participate. What I want is that in 20 years, Total will still remain one of the energy leaders. And in oil and gas, of course, mainly, but also probably in renewables. So the answer we can bring is to participate to the evolution of the energy mix, not to fight against. You know, if you fight, you will lose. So it's better to try to see what are the opportunities rather than trying to be negative about it. Today, the competitiveness of renewables depends, it's not also obvious, but you have some countries where we make money. So our subsidiary SunPower today is positive result. So let's continue. It's a medium and long-term view to have.